Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Guided by Spirit. I am your host, Richard LaRocco, and my amazing co-host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How you doing, Pauline?
I'm doing well today, navigating through some of these intense energies. How are you handling it, Richard?
I'm doing great. We have a lot going on today. Kind of have a little bit of sniffles. One day it's 80 degrees here in central Pennsylvania, and then today it's like, I don't know, 39 with the wind chill. So we're kind of navigating everything. I'm hanging in there. So I'm a little nasally, so please bear with me. Um, but we have a great show today. I'm super excited about this show. This is somebody I absolutely adore. I've witnessed doing events with her, and we're going to talk about all things paranormal. So I will tell you, if you have any questions for our guests coming on, please give us a call, 646-558-8656. And again, the meeting ID is pound 820-252-0581. It is in the description, so please give us a call if you have questions regarding paranormal activity or any other questions regarding whatever ghosts, paranormal, whatever it is. Let's talk
Whatever,
about it. I love this
whatever's
show.
whatever's floating in the air, unsupported, just floating
Casper
in.
the Friendly Ghost. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
So when we go to kick this, before we kick this off, let's talk about universally speaking. We have a lot of energy, Pauline, going on out there. A lot. And I know we have some planetary, some new full moon stuff. So why don't you break it down for us? What do we got? What do we expect? And how do we handle it?
Sure. So, it has been forecasted astrologically that the way the planets have been lining up for quite some time this year, the energy would be very intense. And boy, it is very intense. Those of us who are empaths and sensitives, we could be feeling like, you're being like a ping pong ball, okay, up and down, tired, energized, all sorts of emotions, okay, on that roller coaster. Sleeping, want to sleep, not being able to sleep, all of these things. And just to remind everyone, the two eclipses that we went through earlier in September and October, I think it was Aries and Libra, I believe, they're still playing out. And so there's a lot of new beginnings coming. There's a lot of justice that is yet to be revealed. There's a lot coming. And so where we are currently mixed in with all of that, as if to say that wasn't enough, okay, with the full moon in Aries too a month ago, that was a killer. We tomorrow have a full moon in Taurus. And Taurus rules again finances. There's a lot of planets that are lining up with respect to abundance and prosperity. And so this full moon tomorrow in Taurus is really about staying grounded. It is about letting go. Full moons are always about letting go, letting go, letting go. Okay, so it's the bull. Taurus is the bull. All right, so don't bully anybody and don't let yourself be bullied. Okay, stand your ground. And this is all about that. And the Taurus is the sign of strength and determination. So think about what new goals you want. Who do you want to be? What do you want to create? All of that. How do you want to feel? Do you want to love yourself or not? So, and do you want more prosperity? Because this full moon is very much about letting go of anything that's in the way of your abundance and prosperity. Now, coupled with that, several days ago, we just went through the 1111 portal, the 1111 abundance portal. This is very much connected to Pleiades, by the way, the galactic race known as the Pleiades. They are our galactic cousins, by the way. And this 1111 porthole was so much about abundance. the abundance frequency. And earlier in the year, back in March, I did a workshop on that, a few hour workshop on the abundance frequency. And people are integrating it. They're becoming it. They're telling me, Pauline, I can't believe the opportunities that are showing up for me. I can't believe this person showed up and we're in love. And I can't believe, I can't believe the abundance is flowing in. And that's because I told everybody earlier in the year, start to get prepared for abundance. And that's what this porthole did. It opened up and it showered us with so much energy of abundance. Now, that doesn't mean it's all coming tomorrow, but the point is, we're still integrating the energy of that abundance. And that is going to be very important for 2025. And I'm not going to say any more than that because toward the end of the year, we have some shows designed to talk more about that.
Yeah, I love that. So the abundance and people, abundance can come in many different ways. Abundance can be so, having good friends or soul family around you. It could be prosperity, show me the money. It could be that I have more resources or opportunities, or I have more peace of mind, more rest. Abundance comes in many ways, because and don't just get caught up in the micro of the money or this. The macro of it is setting out that vibration and that frequency to receive,
Yes.
abundance in all forms.
And that is true. I had a client last night who she takes part of all of my workshops, and she is 6 months pregnant. We did some miraculous work over this year, and this little amazing special being is on his way in. And she said to me, Pauline, she said, people are giving me car seats. They're bringing me diapers. They're bringing me all kinds of things. She goes, it's like, I don't even need to go out and buy anything for this baby. She goes, I have everything I need already. She goes, talk about manifesting abundance.
That's
So,
it. I mean, if anybody's seen the price of diapers and this stuff, I mean, it's expensive. So, abundance, and that's how it works. And then
yes,
once you do, the key to that is gratitude. Sitting
yes,
in the gratitude vibration and saying, yes, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you,
yes,
thank
yes.
you.
Every day. Thank you, God, for all that I have, for all that I am, for all that you've given me, for all that you're going to be giving me. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank God when you pull up to a store and you think, I need a parking space, and there's a parking space, right? And thank God for somebody who says, hey, you just dropped $20, right? And you give it, whatever it is, be thankful for every single little thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. So, we're here kind of talking about everything. And again, the Taurus, it's funny. It's funny. You said, don't be bullied and don't let people bully you and don't bully people. It was funny. My mom's a Taurus, and she used to always say, you play with the bull, you're going to get the horns. And I love that saying. So in this season of the Taurus, you play with the bull, you're going to get the horns.
And the horns, they don't feel too good when they go in your butt or your back.
Exactly.
Woof.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
Be
All
gracious.
right.
Yes, be gracious, be in gratitude, and keep yourself grounded, open to receive. A good
All
month,
right.
I am open to receive all that the universe, all that God wants to give me.
I am open to receive. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
All right. So let's bring our guest in. I'm just figuring, bear with me for a second, because I'm looking at our Facebook and I'm trying to oh, there they are. There's the comments. Hello, our great loyal listener, Marvell. She's saying, hello, Pauline. Hello, Richard. Good to see you both again. Good seeing you.
Good
I
seeing
hope you are
you.
staying warm in New York. Or is she in New York, correct?
She's in New York, yeah.
Great. Excellent. So why is this being on a loop? This is so odd. bear with me because I'm trying to, I don't understand why now it's not showing me live.
We are being recorded.
Yeah, we may have to do, I don't know what this is. Love Facebook. Bear with me.
I think they
Facebook,
changed some of their settings. I think Facebook recently just changed some of their,
they're saying you don't have permission to post on Facebook. We were live for about 19 seconds.
you don't have permission.
They're going after Meta. Meta's shutting us down. They can't hold us. It's the tourist, but we're not going to be bullied.
It's very, very good.
We're not going to be bullied. I promise. Yeah, we were live and we're not. So bear with me. I don't know what is going on. Let's go back to here. We were on. We got our first comment from Marvell,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden they put the kibosh on it. Okay. Should be there any minute.
We see the notice. It's being sent to Facebook.
Here we go. All right. Here we are. We're back. All right. Excellent. Sorry about that, everyone. A little technical difficulties. Um, Here we are. I am sorry for that. Blame Zuckerberg. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's kind of welcome our guest. Let me bring her on. There we are. And
Hello.
she is on.
How are you?
Hello, Misty. How are you?
I am great, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. Pauline, this is Misty Summers.
Hello.
Welcome, Misty. Welcome. So grateful you can be on with us to share your expertise. I'm excited to talk to you and hear lots of things that you have to say.
And it is an honor to meet you too. I've heard so many good things about you, Pauline.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So for people that don't know, Misty Summers, she's been investigating the paranormal for over 15 years. Misty is also an amazing psychic medium. I've had the experience of knowing Misty throughout her journey for many years now. And I will tell you, she is probably one of the most amazing souls I've ever met. I know she's on the screen. I will say that outside of this, with her not even present, I adore this person. I've also been honored to not only work with her, and I'm going to continue working with her, and you will see, we're going to talk about that at the end, an event coming up. But I've also been on a couple of paranormal investigations with Misty and her paranormal team, Free Your Mind, FYM, Paranormal, and she's amazing. When I tell you all of the equipment and the sensors and this, and I don't do that. I walk in and I'm like, here we go. We got a guy here and a person over there, and somebody was killed here. That's how I do it, right?
Yeah.
As a medium. But I got to tell you, Misty does both really well. She is just an amazing soul, and I am super, super excited to have you here, Misty.
Thank you, Richard. You're gonna make me cry. Stop.
We can keep going. I'm on payroll. I'm okay. No, I really, I feel that so much. I adore you for what you do and who you are. And let me tell you, she's had an amazing road healing, and her journey, her story is just amazing. And I'm so excited that to introduce you to the world and have the world kind of get to meet you. So I think it's amazing. So let's talk about paranormal. Let's not stop having the Hallmark moment.
Yes, please.
Um,
So uncomfortable right now.
it's okay. It's okay. Hello, Susan from Queens, New York. How are you doing, sweetie? There's Marvell again. Hello, big kisses back. Um, So, Misty, tell us about how did you get into the paranormal? Like, what happened? What caused the journey? Like, where to you got here?
So I always kind of say, and this is like my slogan, I never chose the paranormal chose me. I had experiences back from when I was a child. My first experience that I can remember was I was 4 years old. The house that I grew up in Hagerstown, Maryland, was an almshouse. I didn't know that when I was a child, but I knew that throughout, my lifetime. And my parents would tell me, stories here and there. But I had a nurse that would come and check on me, and I never felt, I could see her. I never felt scared. I never felt anything. And I knew exactly what she was there for in some odd way. I never was concerned. I was never the kid running, Mom, Dad, I seen all kinds of things there. There was a maintenance man that I seen in this building. There was a soldier that I seen in this building because it was used as the makeshift hospital back in the Civil War days. So I
Wow.
seen multiple spirits as a child, starting back at 4. And also my grandmother's house was haunted too. So I, would experience things there. And again, everything I experienced, I was never afraid of. I always felt like I understood it in a odd sense, and never questioned it. And then that led me to, of course, you start seeing the ghost shows on TV, in the early 2000s, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe what I experienced is a thing. And you know how you have the veil that is thin as a child, and then it becomes the comforter, and then it's up to you then to navigate. Well, my daughters got me a Mother's Day gift one year. This is probably about 15 years ago. And it was an investigation at the Haldeman Mansion, which is in Pennsylvania. I know it's up around the Harrisburg area, but I'm not 100% familiar with exactly where it's located. But it is called the Haldeman Mansion. And I just went, me and my husband, and um, I just thought, yay, we're going to go on like this paranormal adventure. This is going to be great. I always knew that I had abilities, but I never knew kind of what it was per se. And I did a few investigations before the Haldeman Mansion, but this was really my moment of, oh my goodness, what is this? So we went and they did a tour of the inside and did a little investigating on the inside. And they said, before I take you to this next location, is there any empaths, intuitives, any psychics that are with us right now that we can pull you aside and before we go to this next location? And I immediately raised my hand and said, me, I am. And when I tell you that that was not me, 100% that was not me. Something literally, and I know it sounds crazy, but something jumped me in that moment and said, now's your time to shine. You're opening right now. This is happening. And as soon as it happened, I immediately remember putting my hand down and being sick to my stomach. And my husband's like, well, you always said you could pick up things. Here's your chance. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't understand. You don't know
So
what just happened there.
now, okay, so kind of feeling the energy, kind of stepping into, I don't know why I'm doing this.
Right.
So, in comparison to what you were getting, kind of like, let's explain, what you were getting to what actually happened. Like, tell us how on were you?
I was spot on to the point where once, and I didn't know what I was doing. Like now I know, like to get to what I was seeing, I was just following my intuition. I was doing psychometry. Like immediately they like took a person to like the whole other side of the building, and this place is huge, and said, we're going to tell this person exactly what happened. You go do your thing. And I'm like, yeah, my thing. Okay, sure. Yeah. Like I know what I'm doing right now. So I go and immediately sit on this stoop, just this concrete stoop. And I, for some reason, just felt the need to put my hands on it immediately. And I know now that's practicing psychometry. And I start to just pick up on things. And I start seeing these visions and of this little girl, and I feel she's in a field, and I feel like I need to go over there to the field. And I just start walking in that direction. I'm like, I see this. I feel like I need to go there. Well, that was like, I got a vision in that moment. And then they went and took me, and they're like, all right, we're going to take you upstairs. So they took me upstairs. I didn't know what this place was. This was just a separate building in outside of the mansion, behind the mansion. And the gentleman took me upstairs, and he's like, well, did you pick up on anything? I said, yeah, I got a little girl running through a field. I said, and there was 3 shadows following her, and I don't exactly know. She thinks it's a game. It's not a game. I feel like they are grown men, and it's not good. And that was what I picked up outside. When I went upstairs, he told me, are you feeling anything in this general area? And as soon as he took me upstairs, my skin like felt like I was just uncomfortable in my own skin. And I said, I feel like a sexual assault happened here. Like I was really careful about like how I don't even want to speak it. And he's like, all right. And he sits me on this like windowsill, and he said, do you feel anything here? And immediately I felt like someone was taking their hands and choking me. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was being strangled. And I said, I feel like whoever was here, I said, I feel like there was some form of asphyxiation. I said, but I don't feel like she passed from this. I feel like she was a survivor. And come to find out that there was a girl who was sexually assaulted there in that room, and they hung her outside of that window in an attempt to make it look like a suicide. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So after he explained everything and how I was spot on, when I came downstairs, my husband looked at me like I was the ghost. And he was like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. And we were done with the investigation that night. I was so freaked out about everything that just happened that I told him, can we leave? Like, I feel a little overwhelmed right now. Can we just go for the evening?
So how did you get to, and like I said, I've seen you're very organized, and you rarely do research when you go into a place, but you have
I
all the
don't like to, no.
equipment. Exactly, because it's like cheating. It's the same thing
Right,
in mediumship. Like I'm not going on social media to figure out who I'm reading for tomorrow, because
right.
there's so much more there. And you want to keep the integrity to it and everything. So how did you start learning about the paranormal, how to use the equipment, how to really dive in, how to do proper investigations, if that's even a thing?
It is a thing, and there is a thing is investigation etiquette too. I am not one of those people that believe in provoking. My whole purpose behind the whole free your mind mantra that I have adopted is not only for, us here on this earth to open, expand our minds and, really learn the truth. But I also want, when I go into these places, I'm finding a lot of times when I investigate and I communicate with loved ones, crossed over spirits, that a lot of what we are speaking of in these places are not true. And they are wanting their truth to be heard. So I really kind of give them a platform. I actually just investigated Hillview Manor and gave a spirit. I had a whole session with the EVP, and we used what's called like the flashlight method, where you use a mag light. And it is said that, spirits can manipulate that energy to turn on and turn off for like yes and no answers. And I had a whole session with my spirit box and an EVP and this flashlight of this gentleman who his story was always told one way, but he is confirming. And whenever I did my meditation before I went, I felt like it was something totally different as well. So,
So may I just, so
Yeah.
do you do help solve cases?
so I have never done that yet, but anything like that, I would be open to. I would be open to attempt to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think there's probably a lot of spirits who
yeah.
want the truth of
Right.
passing revealed.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
To
And that
to
is
their
kind
own,
of,
yeah.
that's where my heart space kind of lies, because I am seeing this trend a lot in my investigations. As far as learning how to investigate, really it was a matter of just kind of teaching myself and, learning the equipment myself. And as far as conducting investigations goes, I personally don't like to know any of the history unless it's a place that I've already been to. And yes, I already know the history. And then I kind of go in and I try to dig a little deeper with some of the stories there. And then also, um, but those of us on my team, they like to know the history. So I kind of divide us up into groups to where those that do not want to know, they can go and use their intuitive abilities. And then those of us that, would already like to know and would like to use those, the history as kind of like trigger conversations to kind of get them to open up and trust. And
Well,
yeah,
clearly, this is your natural programming.
it
This is,
really is. It's
this is,
weird.
yeah, it really is because it comes easy to you. You desire it. You want to do more. And yeah, you're a natural. You're a natural.
Yeah. And it's funny because Richard had did a reading on me. This is a few years ago. And he sat down and he said, I'm seeing like the most decrepit, like dark, creepy place. He goes, and you feel totally at home. I said, yes, you are 100% correct on that.
Okay, you're a fearless spirit.
I
Fearless.
am. I am. I am. And it's so hard because I have a son who also has abilities, and I've just really kind of let him. I don't push with him. He knows he has abilities. I know he has abilities. He has to come into his own when he's ready. But he just cracks me up sometimes when he goes into these places. Like he was just with me doing the investigation in Hillview, and he was just scared out of his mind. There was a couple of times I looked over at him and I'm like, Nate, you need to own your power. Like you
Yeah.
need to understand that you're in this realm, you're stronger, you're protected, you
You will.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of one of those things where it is nice to also have people that like my son and others on my team that do have intuitive abilities that I can kind of help guide them and direct them to explore it and open it up a little bit more if they're ready.
Yeah. I think that's unbelievable. So let me ask you a question. What kind of like what gets a how do we find a place that's haunted? Like why are houses haunted? And I say that term. So,
Yeah.
it's or occupied. Is there activity, paranormal activity? Like what causes a place to have that? Because not every place does, right?
Nope. Yeah. I really have found in the my instances, because I've gone to like well-known locations such as, Waverly Hills or Trans-Allegheny, but then I've also been invited into people's homes too, privately, and that they just knew something wasn't right. And a lot of the times that I find with a lot of these places, it is just either one of three things. It's a residual, so it's just on an energy loop, and that's really not intelligent. That is just energy that was put out in a moment in time that is to be experienced again. And then there's unresolved business, which is a lot of it. I feel like I think that's a reason why a lot of energy sticks around and wants to communicate and wants to either have their truth be told, or they're trying kind of like in our senses with mediumship, they're trying to reach people to really tell their truth, tell their story correctly. Because a lot of people get it wrong a good bit. And then the last one is they just want to. They just want to. Like they're happy there. They want to continue to dwell there. So those are the three reasons that, and I tell everyone like, and that gets scared or nervous about these things. And it's funny because some people are open-minded, some people are closed-minded. And I just try to explain to them, they're just people like you and me. Are you afraid of me? No. So you shouldn't be afraid of them, you know?
Would you
What,
consider,
okay, so what makes it where you go into a place and all of a sudden, like you're getting scratched, you're getting touched,
Mhm.
things are slamming. Okay, so you just explain kind of like the loop, they want to be heard, all of this stuff. What makes it funky? What makes it scary? What makes it to where it's not a great place or a good experience, or they don't care about their truth being told?
So, again, two things. If someone was nasty in this life, they're going to continue to be nasty in the afterlife, especially if they just are totally unwilling to reconcile with their karma and they're just in that nasty funk of an energy space. And until they can resolve their own karmic issues, then they're stuck there, you know. That's what I've experienced in the paranormal, at least. Now, as far as scratches, I have personally been scratched, and Nate actually was just scratched on the last investigation. Scratches can be either, yes, aggressive energy, just wanting you to get out of their space. Scratches also, though, I have found can be a form of a spirit trying to be communicating. And the reason I say that is you go to places like these, like children's mental hospitals or almshouses, and they housed nonverbals. And sometimes the only way a nonverbal can get your attention is by lashing out and scratching you or biting you or pulling your hair or, you know, so sometimes you got to take the nature of where you are in your investigation and know that scratches don't always mean malicious things. It could just be their only way of communicating.
So let's kind of like put this kind of I guess this people think this idea in their head that when you go into these places and you're hearing things is it demonic, right? Is it
Yeah.
demonic? Are there demons, especially in the house? You know, when people say, oh, my house is haunted, this move, that move, I feel there's a presence, I saw a shadow. First thing they go is fight or flight, and they think it's like a demon energy or demonic. Kind of
Right.
like tell us, is it not? Give us your take on it, because I think a lot of people kind of want to know that.
So my take on that is I, most of it is not. I would say it has to be an absolute extreme to be considered a demonic haunting. At that point, you're talking about usually a possession of sorts.
Mhm.
Most of what you experience is just people like you and me. Do I believe that there are things sometimes in this world that, you know, it can be a demonic entity? Sure. If you believe in angels, you should believe in demons, but it's not that highly likely. I feel like demons kind of infiltrate us in different ways. I will say that. I feel like they're very good at ruining lives, not so much as haunting a home. You know what I'm saying?
So that's interesting because I do have a friend who can see demons. And I guess there's not too many people that actually can. And she tells me, to your point, that, you know, if you have the ability to see them, just pretend like you don't. Because as long as you don't recognize them, you've got nothing to worry about. And the way
Right.
that they do operate is through another human, or they'll feed off a human, or a human can get extremely depressed,
Yes.
completely sabotage their life,
Yes.
like that way.
Yep.
But they're not necessarily, there, ooh, going like that
Right.
to you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And I do 100% believe that.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So we actually have our first question
Okay.
from one of our listeners. Does the haunting eventually stop at some point? Do they eventually find peace?
Yes, actually, hauntings can stop, and yes, they can find peace. And it's really up to, like, I'm gonna go and explain this by a situation that I had. So I was invited into this woman's home, and she said that she was pretty much the attackee. Like, she was feeling like a lot of this was on her. She was the one having a lot of experiences. And whenever I was going around her home, the first energy that I seen was a woman, an older woman. And she looked at me, and this is all in my psyche. This is not something that I was physically seeing with my own two eyes. This was visions that I was getting. And she looked at me and she said, "This is my house. I don't like her. I don't like how she cooks. I don't like how she decorated my home, blah, blah, blah." And she was just not, she was sassy and not a nice person. And I had to explain to this woman, "Well, I understand that this was your home at one time." I said, "But it is hers now, and she is caring for it." I said, "It's lovely. The house is nice. It may not be to your liking, but she is taking care of this home." And I had a nice little come to Jesus meeting, I like to call them, with this woman in spirit. And I explained this to her, and I said, she and I had to talk to the lady who was, the living woman who was inhabiting the home. And I explained to her, "This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm picking up on." And I said, "I feel like this woman primarily is in the kitchen because that's where she spent most of her time. And I feel like that's where you feel like you are the most attacked. And I feel like dishes fall and pots and pans just kind of come out of, like, I was just seeing her just messing with her cooking stuff." And she said, "Yes, yes." She was confirming all of that. And I said, "This is something that I could either, ask this woman to leave and do a blessing, but it's up to her to leave. I can't tell any spirit that they need to go. Anyone that says, 'Oh, go to the light, you can go,' that's up to the spirit. That's not up to me, you
So,
know."
so wouldn't that spirit, tell me if I'm seeing this correctly, in my view as a healer, this spirit has unresolved issues around that house. Whatever the reason was that she's not in that house, whether it was death, whether she had to move, whatever, she's got unresolved issues still
Right,
in her energy field. And as a spirit now, not a human,
right.
she's still trying to maintain ownership of that house. Yeah, so there's
Yes,
an unresolved, I know there's an unresolved issue there, right?
right.
Yeah.
So in that instance, whenever I was talking, the lady who lived there, she was gracious enough to say, "Well, I'm glad I now know who it is." It was just scary because I felt like I was being attacked. So then, this is where the term medium comes in great, because I am the in between of the two, having this conversation with the both of them. And I was explaining to her, this woman who is living here is happy to still have you, but you need to knock it off. Stop being so mean. You got to find this happy medium, or, you have loved ones that have crossed over and would love for you to fully be there, and fully, it. And so the lady called me probably 3 weeks after and said, "Everything is just calm as a cucumber now." And I was like, "Okay, great."
So
I
maybe
said,
she just needed to be heard, the spirit, and she needed to
"Right.
be
Yes.
recognized. And
Right.
I'm even wondering, maybe if when we know who they are, we can just even pray for them.
Right. Right. Absolutely." And I
Yeah.
did. And that is kind of like, I don't do like a moving on type prayer, but I do sit with them and ask them, "What do you need? Do you need closure? Do you need peace? What do you need?" And I will sit here and I will pray with you, and I'll ask for those things to come into your energy.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So we do have a question. Do they ever sense Misty, do they ever sense that you can actually see them or send them, I guess, away? It's an emoji. So does spirit actually know that you have gifts?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I've experienced this one. I've
Yeah.
experienced this. And do they know, like, do they? Okay, so remember, let's kind of talk about, so my, I guess, very first paranormal investigation. Okay. So I have done clearings for college fraternity that or sorority that was extremely active. TVs flying against the wall, girls getting touched. They had brought in a priest, nothing worked. Well, they got my name somehow. I have nowhere. Probably the bathroom wall of some like, truck stop. Who knows, right? I'm kidding. Um, but I know going there, it was very different. I was doing a reading and a clearing. But when I went with you to do an investigation, and we were in Chambersburg, Chambersburg, Maryland, or
PA.
Pennsylvania,
Yep.
and we were at the old jail,
Mhm.
the old Chambersburg jail, which did actually have Underground Railroad. There was how many hangings at the
7.
jail? Seven
7
hangings.
there, and then the gallows went to Hagerstown and had a few more and then was brought back. Yep.
Yeah. And we're talking like the original gallows where
Yes.
people were hung like in the old movies. And I remember the energy there was extremely intelligent,
Yeah.
knew my name.
Hmm. Yeah,
Remember
we got
when
your
we were
name
in,
multiple times on the spirit box.
oh yeah, they didn't like me
No.
whatsoever. Because I'm walking around like, yeah, okay, here we go. Like I got you, I got this, I got that, and I had no fear. And at one point they were calling me out. And I even took a picture at one of the mirrors. And instead of just having the flash of my phone, it was almost like this orb of energy, this circle kaleidoscope of like colors surrounding me. And I still don't know what that is. Somebody said it was my aura kind of protecting me or my energy, but I was the main target there. Um,
Yeah.
Tell us,
Which
like,
is nice because usually I am. So I got to break that evening.
exactly. Um, so, like, when you go in, what happens if you're the target? Like, let's kind of talk about like what to do when you're in an investigation. And I know you mentioned about being respectful. Is there anything else?
Well, you're going to have spirits who just, like you said, hands down, just don't like you. And for whatever reason, I have found spirits don't like you because you are a truth speaker. You can see through their lies. Spirits are trying to, they operated in one way and they want to keep it that story in the afterlife. And they don't want their truth to be told because their truth sometimes ugly. And then other times, as far as just knowing, I feel like it's the bug zapper at midnight theory. I say that a lot. You know, you go into these spaces and they're in a different dimension. They're in a whole other energy realm than what we are. And it's like a spotlight at night, bug zapper at night. They're like, ooh, that one, I can communicate with that one. So whether it's good energy or bad energy, you need to, I envision and call upon, my angels, my guides. I put myself in my little spiritual bubble of protection of energy. And I just go in there and, I know anything, I'm protected at the end of the day. I know nothing can harm me. Yes, I've been scratched. Yes, I've been poked and hair pulled and all that stuff and threatened before on spirit boxes. But at the end of the day, nothing can happen to me. I know I am protected.
So it sounds to me like, okay, the spirit world and the human world, it's all the same stuff. You like
It,
somebody, you get along. You don't like somebody, you pull their hair, you scratch them, you talk bad about them. I mean,
it, it
it
is.
sounds like it's all the same.
Pauline, I'm staying on your good side, Pauline.
Yeah, it really it is very much so the same. Like to me, I do believe like there are other dimensions, and I do feel like the spirit realm, and it's really cool because as I kind of dig deeper on this theory, When I go to investigations, I like to ask them, and anyone who does paranormal, I'd encourage you to start adopting this theory because it's really crazy. Ask them what year it is. Because we've had in the paranormal community people that have done that, and we have received the future. We have received like 2073, and we've received far in the past like 1482. So it's amazing to me, like how how like this is all theory. We don't actually know other than what we have studied and what we have shown and what is proof to us, what our beliefs are. So to know however many dimensions are actually existing within this, world of ours is honestly mind blowing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
if you're willing enough to open your mind, free your mind, and really just deep dive down into it and stop being so afraid, like what is to fear? Really, what is to fear?
there are many dimensions.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and the Bible, which I don't, kind of believe it's only, somewhat accurate, is that even it says there are many houses in the kingdom of God, which means is there's thousands of dimensions. There's lots
Yeah.
going on, not just people that died in that being. We have a couple of questions here I do want to get to.
Okay.
We have Jody. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
So my house is built directly on top of an old morgue from a
Oh,
tuberculosis
oh,
hospital at the end of my row. My
oh.
house feels heavy and thick and dark. I am wondering if this is because of the death, and how can I get my air to feel lighter and clearer here, please?
Yeah.
Please.
I would love to live there, Jody.
Oh.
um, but for someone that's kind of, yeah, I would totally understand why your energy in your home feels like that. And yes, I'm going to say 100% it has everything to do with the fact that how many people went from this realm to their next, under the foundation of your home. That's where they were housed. So absolutely, I would suggest you could either have someone come in and do just an energy cleansing into your home or educate yourself and do it yourself. That is something that I had to do here in my home after I kind of didn't realize how I needed to protect myself when I went into these different locations. And I I don't know if I brought something home or whatever was here was mad that I was, doing these investigations, but I had a similar experience to where I had to do an energy clearing of my home. And once I did that, everything's good. And I highly suggest you do that once a month. That's just personal for me. You don't understand what energy transfers actually happen in your home, and some energy that stays, especially if you have someone that's very negative, like a negative Nancy come in and visit your home, and their energy is just like after they leave, you're just kind of like, oh God, and that's just their energy sticking with you. And you need to just kind of like, whoop, brush that off. But highly recommend you doing just an energy cleanse. It doesn't necessarily mean that your house would be haunted, but I can understand fully why you probably do feel like that dark heaviness kind of
Yeah.
just existing there.
And it's funny because she did follow up with this saying, my daughter and I are very low and dense and down. So one of the things too is think about this. So the energy of the place is kind of like the car. And
Hmm.
because the car makes you feel down with the heaviness, but when you operate in a very low vibration, not in the negative, right? Or you feel down or depressed, you're the gas station to the vehicle. So
Absolutely.
it becomes a cycle of them bringing you down, you giving them what they need, and it never ends. So a couple of things, very simple. And we're going to kind of talk about this real quick. We have some more questions about how to clear space, simple
Yeah.
things people can do, things like that. We're going to get to that in a few. Um, I have another question from Steph. Hi, Richard. You helped me figure out a force that rushed me in my mother's house. Yeah, go me. Could Misty expand on places absorbing negative and that negativity shows itself instead of a form of a person?
Oh,
So
yes.
could Misty expand on places absorbing negativity? So I wonder if there's a specific place in a house and that negativity shows itself instead of a form of a person.
So on the negativity that can show itself in the instead of a form of a person, absolutely, that would be shadow figures, shadow energy, just being a blob, just and that's just negative energy in abundance. Now, a lot of shadow entities are not, and from what I'm understanding, it's all from low vibration. Or it is an energy that just does not have enough energy within within itself to fully show itself, but typically they're in a form. As far as a certain area holding just really bad negative energy, absolutely, absolutely. There, just where I investigated at Hillview, there is a spot that the first time I went there, I didn't know anything about this spot. And as soon as I entered the location, this room, and it's just this specific room, I felt nauseous. I felt like super dizzy, like I had vertigo. And I said, I can't stay in here. This is absolutely horrible. I don't know why I can't stay in here, but I need to get out. And I got out and went downstairs and explained to the people that were there. And they explained to me why I felt that way, because a horrible incident happened in that area. This last time when I went back there, that was the first time. This last time I went there, nothing has changed in that area. I don't know why. That saddens me. But in that same token, I couldn't even walk the whole way into that room. I legit felt like two hands just pushing me on my shoulders, like, no, no. And so
Yeah.
in that token, I had to look out for myself and listen to my guides and be like, all right, nope, all right, we're gonna leave that alone and just send it love and light and walk away. Whatever is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that to be true too. The sorority that I went into to investigate, there was actually no people. Each room, there was 13 bedrooms in this house for a sorority, and each room was a different temperature. Doors were opening and closing. Everybody was waking up at 3 a.m., whether they were staying with their parents in the house. Um, Things flying off the walls, TVs, girls getting touched. And again, there was no energy there. But we're going to talk about this too. Ouija boards. Somebody opened up a portal, which is like in the middle of winter or in the middle of a hurricane, category 5, you open the window and everything comes in. So
Yeah.
we're going to kind of talk and touch base before we get off. I do want to we have a lot of questions here.
Wow.
So we also have, does the ghost visit you in your dreams? And do you tell them what they want in them? I guess Marvell asked.
So can spirits visit you in your dreams? I personally have never had that experience. I can't say that I haven't had visions though. I do feel like I've had divine visions given to me and almost kind of like out of body experiences when I was kind of astral traveled to a moment in time. I had those incidences, but as far as a spirit, no. But what I have had, as I opened and started to open up and expand my abilities, I would have. The only way I can describe this is I was having a lot of trouble sleeping, and I would be constantly woken up around the same time every night. And yes, it was in the 3 o'clock hour. What sounded like 50 people in my bedroom having a full blown conversation, which was absolutely exhausting.
Yes.
And that was just a matter of me not understanding, okay, I'm open now, we can talk, or I'm closed now, I need sleep.
Yes.
Setting boundaries and spirit,
Yes.
human.
Yes.
Setting those
Yeah.
boundaries. Yeah.
Right.
And let me tell you, this stuff exists, okay? Does it have to be scary? No, but a lot of times it is scary because, I mean, Misty and I are very desensitized to this. This is our everyday. I see dead people every day. It's what I do for a living. I got a business card, right? So when I go into a place and people are like, oh my gosh, this just flew across the room, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Go clean it up. Like it's gonna make a mess. Or I got touched last night. Oh, you did? What did they want? Were you not paying attention? Like for us, it's normal.
Right.
And
It
I
is.
think for everybody that's living, that is not open like we are, or doesn't, know how to do that, it can be scary.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of ways. One thing is that use your loved ones, okay? Use your loved ones to help you and protect you. Prayer is excellent. Archangel Michael, right? All you got to say is, I need you here. Um, Things like that. Jesus is another one, working in the Christ consciousness, is unbelievable. I know for me, when I prepared, I brought in the big guns. I had Archangel Michael, Jesus, and I called in my mom, right?
Yep.
Real tough from Brooklyn, 5 foot little pit bull, kind of like you, Misty. Reminds me of you, same energy. And I was like, all right, mom, let's go. And she's like, oh, hell no. And she
Right.
left. My mom's in spirit. And I was like, all right, guys, it's just me. It's just the three of us, Jesus and Archangel Michael. And it worked out great. But what I want to say is, too, because we have some follow-ups, Jody says it's been going on for a while, but it's actually starting to get worse and worse. So here's what I'm going to say to you, Jody, is what are you doing to help and heal yourself?
Right.
Okay. What are you doing in the house to remove negativity? And I'm not talking about the paranormal. I'm talking about arguing. Is there toxic relationships? Is there somebody with depression, anxiety, addiction? You got to remember being in that, like Misty said earlier, operating in that low vibration feeds
Feeds it.
all of this.
Or even just negative thinking,
Yes.
worry,
Exactly.
worry,
Ex-
fear,
exactly.
or
You know,
the thoughts that keep going around the head. That's a lower vibration.
yes, exactly. So the first thing I would do is I would say, who's doing it? What are they doing? And let's start changing. Let's start playing some music. Let's start communicating effectively. Let's do some healing, journaling. Let's get that stuff out of our subconscious. And what you're going to start to see is now you're starving it.
Mhm.
And it's going to eventually say, I can't get what I need here, and maybe leapfrog to the neighbor, and yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I would even go so far as to say light a bunch of white votive candles and just continue to say, let all negative energy be gone. Let all negative energy be gone. Let all negative energy be gone from this room, from this house. And just keep
Yep.
repeating it like a chant. Just keep doing it. You'll feel some of the space. You'll feel it lighten up.
And again, the loved one. We have one of our listeners, Susan, who I've actually talked to, and she was a dear friend of our old friend Lynn Van Prague. Through Lynn, I learned to accept connections to loved ones and know they are with me. That gave me comfort. Yes, our loved ones are always with us. Always with us. Utilize them. Okay, they're there to protect you. Hey mom, I'm scared. Get this out of here. Guess what? They become like Ghostbusters.
Right.
What does this say? The difference between a soul and spirit. So I'm assuming if this is a spirit that is maybe not the best intention and our loved ones. I think that's the question. The difference between a soul and spirit. Because the two are the
So
same in theory,
in
Right.
kind
theory,
of.
I kind of have a um a thing that kind of popped in my mind one day whenever as exploring the paranormal, but then opening up to mediumship and also, understanding religion. And I thought to myself, in the Bible, it says God created man in his likeness. And God is a Trinity. So you have God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. So this is my take. I'm not saying that this is factual or anything. This is just my take on it. And it really does resonate very much so with me. So if you have the body, okay, we all know that when we die, this is our fleshy suit. Okay, that's what I like to call it. And it's just going to go and wither away. Okay. And then that leaves you with a soul and a spirit. Okay. And your soul is ultimately going on to the next, whatever your next endeavor is. Your spirit is your energy. Okay. That is what the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit comes, goes, it's energy form. So think of the person that you love, and their energy, their aura, who they were. That can exist. And I feel like most of the times that's what we are communicating with whenever we are speaking to spirit.
Yeah.
So that was my theory.
I love that. So let's say, okay, we have here, so the woman with the house by the morgue, tuberculosis, she says it's just her and her 17-year-old daughter, and things are starting to get, they're struggling. They've been there for 10 years. They're both struggling, and they both have complex PTSD. So one of the suggestions I make, is that start the healing process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Start healing process, start communicating, journaling, start doing some things, maybe speaking to somebody, whether it's, a therapist, counselor, coach. I've worked with a young lady, and just our first session afterward, she says, I feel 1,000 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
It's almost like that pressure of anxiety that I've been holding on to is now gone. So little things like that, getting it out of the subconscious is very empowering and very healing in itself. Okay.
I think you can also have the house blessed, and I don't know how religious this person is, and you don't have to be religious, but whatever religion you are, there's usually some type of house blessing that also can be done.
Yes.
Oh, I have an amazing, I have an amazing blessing that, and I can even share it too, that my teacher gave me, and I've used it, and it really works. It really works. So let's see here. So let's kind of go into real fast, Misty. Um, what do you suggest people to do to kind of do some clearing of energy? Somebody post, I use sage.
Yeah.
That's great, not
Yeah.
the best.
Right. So what I tend to do, and it's funny that Pauline said about white candles. I do. That is one thing that I will do. I will take a white candle and light it, and I will hold this candle in my hand, and I actually will walk from room to room to room saying blessings. I also will use black salt. The reason I use black salt is to remove any negative energy, and I just kind of sprinkle in the four corners of each room if the homeowner is willing. As I'm saying the same blessing and removal of negative energy in each space, I do try to methodically make sure that I am at a point where when I'm done with one level, I will open the door and I will tell it all to just kind of be gone, and renewed energy enter this space. I have in the past to help ground the energy of the home. Again, if the person is willing and understanding, I like to take crystals, depending upon what I'm picking up, and I actually will implant them in the four corners of the home. So it's not any specific crystal. It's typically what I am feeling at that time. I typically will work a lot with amethyst, just because amethyst is just a good balancer of all energies. And a lot of people, when you're entering these homes, you almost will always pick up some form of anxiety or depression. So amethyst is just that safe go-to. I can tell everyone, as far as like clear quartz as well. is just an all-around good energy stabilizer and uplifting energy, bringing in good energy, new, fresh energy as well. But it's really just taking ownership. As far as herbs goes, I do use a lot of Palo Santo myself. Sage, yes, sage is good, but sage is also one of those that it can remove good energy too.
Yeah.
So if you have, you need to understand and educate yourself on your herbs before you go burning herbs in your house.
And it's interesting because you're right, Misty, and you're dead on. So one of the things, the highlight of kind of like my spiritual career is my teacher, when I got ordained as a spiritualist minister, we had to do a clearing of my favorite building ever, which is the Healing Temple in Lilydale. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to do this. I get to clear the energy. And she showed us the sage, but also explained the sweetgrass. Kind of like sage removes all. It removes negative, it removes positive. Plus, you have to work to get it in every corner, everything. And she says, yes, this is good. I said, but there are better ways. One of the best ways, and I've utilized this, we travel everywhere, is a singing bowl. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sound, vibration, and frequency. You can literally stand in a room, hit the singing bowl, doesn't matter the frequency. This is handmade in Tibet. I will do it, and the sound vibration removes all negative but keeps the positive.
Yeah.
Sound
So,
in this.
Richard, I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to chime in on that because not everyone may have that accessible, but I 100% agree with you on that too.
Yeah.
I have singing bowls. But so if you do not have a singing bowl, I am a huge so I have indigenous in my background. So any type of indigenous drumming that is uplifting, any type of shamanic music that you can find on YouTube, anything of that, but make sure that you know that it is for, any type of negative energy clearing. Make sure you specifically type that in. So I tell a lot of people, you have a phone, you have access to the internet, go around, carry that with you as you are doing this.
And there, even on YouTube, there are a lot of
Yes.
binaural beats,
Right.
432
Yes.
hertz, 888 hertz, and they're
Right.
uplifting. A lot of them say clearing negative energy. Just play it.
Yes.
Yeah, play it. The vibration will shift the energy in the room.
But singing bowls are amazing. Absolutely amazing if you haven't experienced that.
So we got so much going on here. I'm like, wow, this is going to have to be another show because there's so many questions. I do photography in the ceremonies. What should I do before I go? I said, set positive intention. There's so much here. People putting crystals they use, asking more questions. I mean, this is really, I don't think people realize a lot of times it's intention, it's mindset. If you're scared, that feeds it. Ask your loved ones to kind of help you. Really think about what's going on in the house or where it is. We got a lot to do here.
And you can clear the outside of the house too. I do that in
Oh,
every
yes.
location. I don't just clear the inside. I'll
The
never forget the first
doorways,
time
you
in the
name it.
doorways, but I walked around the outside of my house with like a safe,
Right.
kind of like a little bowl, dinging it. And I was moving into a new neighborhood, and I'm sure they were like, "Oh my God, who is this weirdo here?" She's walking around her house
Yeah.
Who cares?
with sage and like dinging a bowl. But I wanted to clear the energy around the house on the outside as well.
Right. Yes.
Super.
Yes.
We're gonna
We
have
have
to
people
have you
saying
back, Misty.
crystals, Archangel Michael, Richard was right with the bowl. I mean, again, it's not about. So one of the things I also use too is I buy Florida water and I take in a spray bottle. I will take, and this is for heavy, heavy stuff. Also with some distilled water, and I will mix that too. And that's kind of like a spiritual cleanser instead of holy water, things like that. It's made for specifically this. It's used in shamanic offerings. A lot of the shamans will take a swig and blow it on somebody to purify them. So little things
And
like this.
that's a good way too. As far as anyone that wants to know before they go into these locations and how to protect themselves, other than, calling in, your guides and putting on your own spiritual kind of bubble. I do make my own protection oil as well. So, I mean, that is definitely something that you can Google how to create your own protection oil or, protection spray to just kind of put on. And it's all herbs. It's basically, you can create it in your own kitchen, but that is a way that you can put it on. But it is, so you can use all these amazing things, but it is all about your mindset and your intention whenever you go into that space.
Yeah.
And I just want to say 2 really amazing crystals. I have them in my house for protection. One of them is black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is a
Yeah.
wonderful crystal to help repel negative
Yeah.
energies. Obsidian.
Yes.
Obsidian is another one. And there's a bunch of them, and you can Google them, but they're even blue angelite is the crystal of the angels.
Right.
So yeah, you got to do a little research.
Yes. I
Basically,
don't go anywhere, any location without black tourmaline somewhere on my person when I go to a new place that I'm unsure of.
Yeah, the
Black
black
tourmaline is a staple for me.
yes, yeah.
yeah. And any high vibrational stone really works. Okay. If you don't have that, grab a singing bowl, grab a bell, walk in with a good intention. If you look, and here's one tip that I really suggest, for people that kind of go and provoke, like you mentioned in the beginning, I go in with respect, right? And we've seen the Travel Channel. We know what's going on there. People are kind of calling them out and doing everything. And maybe we'll talk about that next time. What we see on TV to what is real. I was on Travel Channel, Haunted Hospital, season 3, episode 10. Don't watch. It was really bad.
It looks like
But
a
a
whole
lot
different
of that
person.
actually happens to me. So it's about 70% real. And I was scratched and things started burning and all kinds of crazy things. But I never went down the rabbit hole and got all scared and called Ghostbusters and everything. It was Archangel Michael, Jesus, and intention. And that was and God of your own understanding through prayer. And it doesn't have to conform to a religion. It's just
Right.
intention and vibration. So Misty, I want to say, so thank you for coming in. This is a
Thank you
great
for
topic. We have so many questions here. I feel like we can keep going. Um, it's difficult to know how far they can go with us, isn't it? Y'all, they'll only go as far as you will let them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Don't look for trouble if you don't want trouble. Okay.
Right.
You look for it, you're going to find it.
Right.
Really, that's kind of how it is.
It
So,
is.
Misty, you and I are doing an event in December.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to be bringing, so if you're interested, first of all, go check out where can they contact you? Where can they reach you on Facebook, on social media? Let's kind of, because I'm
So,
sure now all of a sudden you're going to get all these followers and people asking you
so
crazy questions.
And I love that because I love all of this. I love educating people to the best of my knowledge on anything paranormal. It is my passion. And having my mediumship on top of it is it's like the icing on the cake. So right now I am in process of setting up my own webpage. And then I'm also, so the only way that you can contact me right now is on Facebook. So if you just look up my name, Misty Summers, and yes, that is my real name. I get a lot of people that are like, "Is that like a stage name?" And I'm like, "No, that's me." But if you just look me up on Facebook, you will see a picture of me and my husband. And I think my page right now has me and my team in front of Hillview because that was our last investigation. So you can send me a friend request. I will gladly accept.
Actually, I think it's I don't know if you changed it, but it was a witch's costume.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So again, reach out to Misty if you're interested, if you have things going on and you're in the central Pennsylvania area, or if you have questions, you want to check her out. She's always doing investigations. She, kind of works out of the Chambersburg jail. She does a lot there, but she's all over. So next time you're on, we want to know what's the most haunted and active place you've been, how to bridge mediumship into this. We have so much more to cover.
Okay.
Um,
I
so
can't wait.
somebody posted, excited to see Misty in person. This person is
Oh,
coming to our December event.
well, I'm
And
excited to see you in person.
yes, yes. So Yvonne posted, she can't wait to meet you. For anybody that hasn't gotten tickets yet, go to either richalaraco.com or hurting to healing, the number 2 healing coaching.com under events. Misty and I will be at the Wilbur Tapestry Hilton Hotel in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. I've done this event with Lynn. I've done it with Anthony Maraca, some big mediums out there, and I'm super excited. And this one kind of means the most to be with you, Misty. So we're going to have a great time. We're going to connect, bring tears, laughs, lots of healing. So if you're interested, there are tickets available. It is December 8th. It's a Sunday at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6, in this amazing old hotel that used to be a chocolate factory. For anybody that hasn't been there, this place is amazing. So go online, get your tickets, come out and see Misty and myself. We are going to rock the house and just have a great time. Very high vibrational stuff. Like Lynn used to say. It's got to be high vibration. Light attracts light. And that's my dear friend Lynn.
Yeah.
So she will be there. I always carry her prayer card everywhere with me, always stays close to my heart. Um, and I'm excited. So go online, get your tickets, minimum limited seating. And I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing time. See Misty and I. We're going to have a great time and come up and say hi, or ask her questions. Who knows? Who knows? We're
It
going to have
sounds
Ghostbusters
fabulous.
in the house.
I wish I lived closer.
Yeah. Oh, you would love it. You'd be there too, Pauline. You'd be up there with us. So we do have a quick comment. Ashley said, love this. Misty's an amazing powerhouse of info. So yes,
Oh,
she is. So there's lots of love to
thank
you,
you.
Misty.
Yeah.
People are just sharing lots of good stuff here. Pauline, what do you have going on before we go to Thanksgiving or towards the end of the year?
Yes, just booked till the end of the year, but I do have an incredible event coming up on Sunday, December 29th. It is online so that everybody can join in, and we will be talking about 2025, the energy of 2025, what that's going to bring, the abundance frequency, the evolution frequency, and it's going to be extremely powerful. So if
Love
anybody's
it.
interested, just contact me through my website. I will send you the invite. I don't put all these invites up on my website. You need to be on my private mailing list, and that's kind of how I operate. Because
Yeah,
there's a community, there's a beautiful community. People know each other, and we can be 20, 30 people online, and it is fabulous.
I love it. I love it. And for me, you can go to hurting the number 2 healing coaching.com if you are interested on developing your own mediumship or starting your healing journey. We have a lot going on. I will tell you, just really focus on 2025. Be the year of you. Start investing in you. Start healing you. Live your soul's journey. And there's just amazing stuff to come. I know December 8th will be with Misty. Go to my website, hurting the number 2 healing coaching.com to see all the future events coming up and services. Misty, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I,
It's been
I think it's,
wonderful. I had a blast.
oh,
Even
excellent.
though
And
I'm extremely nervous the whole time.
You
Oh, no,
did.
you
Oh
were
my gosh, you
fabulous.
did great.
You're a pro. You're a
You
pro.
did amazing. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Remember, we will be back next Thursday at 3 p.m. You can also watch the recordings here. Go check out Misty, say hi, give a wave, give a little ghost emoji, whatever it may be. But tell her you saw her here and reach out. She's an amazing wealth of knowledge and just such an amazing soul.
And these shows are uploaded to my YouTube channel, Pauline Raffaella on YouTube. So you can go watch them anytime you want, and they're all right there.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing rest of the week and a weekend. And we'll see everybody next Thursday. Have a
Much
great
love.
day.